Hands that were on your shoulder during bad times are more valuable than the hands that clap for you on your success. Forgiving doesn't make the person who hurt you feel better. It makes you feel better. Accept things as they are. Life isn't about living in the past or living for the future. It's about living in the now. People who play roles will eventually forget their lines. Pay attention. You are always responsible for how you act, no matter how you feel. Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. Learn to deal with people for who they are, not who you want them to be. No matter how good you are, if you're in the wrong place, you're worthless. Extraordinary results come from repeating ordinary actions over an inordinate amount of time. You can either choose a happy, conventional, and stress-free life, or you can choose a very interesting but more difficult and meaningful life. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. When you blame someone else for your problems, you're giving them power over you. You're allowing them to define and dictate your happiness and well-being. People start hating you when they cannot control you. Forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before you learned it. If you find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth to someone else, you've already forgotten your value. Leave when a promise turns into a sorry. You don't find your purpose somewhere else. You create your purpose exactly where you are, and you bring meaning to it. No single thing will solve all your problems. No goal, no achievement, no relationship. You will always feel mildly inadequate and somewhat dissatisfied with your life. A happy life is not a life without stress. It's a life of meaningful stress. You won't forget some bad things. You just stop caring. Until that happens, don't stress too much about it. It's never too late to do the thing you've always wanted to do. Don't let naysayers discourage you, because they may be projecting their own insecurities. The more you love yourself, the more you'll detach yourself from things that don't love you. Follow your heart, but take your brain with you. You can have results or excuses, not both. Growth happens when you start doing things that you're not qualified to do. Be smart enough to ask for advice, but be wise enough to know who to seek it from. With time, the more wins with fear you can accumulate, the more fearless you will become. Never make someone a priority who only makes you an option. Whoever fights can lose. Whoever doesn't fight has already lost. The only way to feel better about yourself is to do things worth feeling good about. A lot of things broke your heart, but fixed your vision. Never deny yourself an experience just because it's unknown or uncomfortable. It may just be a defining and wonderful part of your life. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Your entire life can change in an instant. So instead of passively taking what you have for granted, be grateful for it and do whatever good you can with it. One of the most dangerous things you can do is believe someone's opinion about you. Your relationship with others is a direct reflection of your relationship with yourself. Your tomorrow can be very different from today if you try. If you keep thinking about what is not working today, I promise you that your tomorrow won't either. It's not about having time, it's about making time. You can't always be nice. That's how people take advantage of you. Sometimes you have to set boundaries, destroy the old you before it destroys you. Be selfish with your time. A lot of people don't deserve it. Never be so loyal that you betray yourself. You cannot have everything. You always exchange something for something. Weak people revenge, strong people forgive, intelligent people ignore. Nor are we defined by what we give up, what we sacrifice, and what we reject. You are merely a reflection of the preferences and demands of the people around you. If you don't decide who you are, other people will decide for you. You grow as much as the amount of truth you're willing to accept about yourself without running away. There is always time. The only question is how long you will make excuses and pretend that it doesn't exist. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. The worst kind of enemies are those who pretend to be your friends. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Do not discuss your past with anyone, because only you know its true story and significance. Others may not understand or even use it against you. Success and failure are fuzzy concepts that only exist in your mind before you do something. not after. The more grateful you are, the more beauty you will see all around you. The more generous life will seem, and the happier you will become. Sometimes you need to stop seeing the good in people and start seeing what they show you. If there's something you want to do in life, don't wait. If you do, you might find 5 years have passed without you doing anything. Most of your problems disappear once you start hanging out with smarter, more thoughtful people. Everything comes to you at the right time. Be patient and trust the process. You can't always help. Sometimes you will watch people you love make terrible decisions despite the advice you give them. If you need inspiration, don't do it. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. Find something you love, something you can lean on to. Something that would keep you going. You need something to fall back on when you get depressed. Accept that you are not important to some people and move on. Every time when you are rejected for something good, you are redirected to something better. On the other side of a storm is the strength that comes from having navigated through it. Remember, some of the best times of your life haven't even happened yet. Take some time today to recognize where you are right now and how hard you've worked to get there, even if you're not exactly where you dream to be just yet. Life lessons won't work unless you do. Don't change yourself just to make someone happy unless that someone is you. The longer you live in the past, the less future you have to enjoy. Don't worry about those who talk behind your back. They're behind you for a reason. There are no missed opportunities. Everything you missed wasn't yours. If you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. Your life isn't yours if you constantly care about what others think. Sometimes you need to burn bridges to stop yourself from crossing them again. A man without a vision for his future always returns to his past. Make sure the choices you make are worth the losses you'll take. Action breeds more clarity than thought, so you can't think your way into a new life. You have to act your way into one. Don't worry about those who talk behind your back. They're behind you for a reason. There are no missed opportunities. Everything you missed wasn't yours. If you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. Your life isn't yours if you constantly care about what others think. Sometimes you need to burn bridges to stop yourself from crossing them again. A man without a vision for his future always returns to his past. Make sure the choices you make are worth the losses you'll take. Action breeds more clarity than thought, so you can't think your way into a new life. You have to act your way into one. You can make all the mistakes you want, just don't make the same one twice. It's okay if you don't know how to move on. Start with something easier like not going back. Sometimes you just need to be a bit selfish. Put yourself first and think about what is best for you. Learn to see people for what they are, not what you want them to be. Be humble enough to know you aren't better than anyone, but wise enough to know that you're different than the rest. Until you become comfortable with being alone, you will never know if you're with someone out of love or out of loneliness. People don't decide their future, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. The faster you do the things you avoid, the faster you get the good things you want. Accept the things you cannot change and change the things you cannot accept. The greatest challenge in life is discovering who you are. The second greatest is being happy with what you find. You think you know someone, but mostly you just know what you want to know. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. If nothing else, some people just teach you how not to be. You can't make anyone love you, and you can't force yourself to love anyone else. Don't burn your opportunities for temporary comfort. Confidence does not come from an expectation of success. It comes from a comfort with failure. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same. We are the average of the people we spend time with. Surround yourself with good people to be a good person. Don't expect to see a change if you don't make one. People will walk in and out of your life, and those you least expect will become past remembrances of a temporary time you once thought was permanent. You train people how to treat you unconsciously or not. The point of the argument is not to defeat each other, but to understand each other. If it scares you, it might be a good thing to try. Your value is not determined by someone else's inability to see your worth. There are no bad emotions, only bad reactions to them. You have to learn how to channel your negative emotions in a constructive way. People who show you new ways of thinking and new ways of seeing life are important. Your enemies will often tell you. People know your worth, they just hope you don't base your decisions on the advice of those who don't have to deal with the results. Sometimes good things fall apart so better things can fall together. Accept people as they are, but place people where they belong. For better or worse, the way things are now is not how they will always be. Never confuse people who are always around you with people who are always there for you. You can't reach for what's in front of you until you let go of what's behind you. It's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. Don't try to save a person who isn't actively trying to save themselves. They just want someone to pull down with them, and often don't really want to be saved. Whatever you do between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. pays the bills, and what you do between 5 p.m. and midnight builds your legacy. Be careful about the stories you're telling yourself about your current circumstances. A head full of negative thoughts has no space for positive ones. The people who say you can't and you won't are usually the ones scared that you will. People ask what you do for a living so they can calculate the level of respect to give you. Your life right now is a result of the choices you made this past year. Your life a year from now will be a result of the new choices you start to make. Choosing comfort over discomfort does not lead to a comfortable life. Stay close to the people who want more for you, not more from you. Sometimes the hardest things in life are the things that we need to hear the most. Experience is the hardest kind of teacher. It gives you the test first and the lesson afterward. There comes a time in your life when you have to choose to turn the page, write another book, or simply close it. Solving a problem without solving its root cause is like taking a step forward and then one back. How you treat your body before you are 45 is how your body will treat you after you are 45. The wrong people always teach you the right life lessons. They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. Once you realize the power of your presence, you won't be just anywhere. You will never hear someone who's doing better than you speak negatively about you. If you don't separate yourself from your distractions will separate you from your goals and the life you want. If you can find paths without any obstacles, it probably leads nowhere. One of the fastest ways to improve your life is to simply do what you said you were going to do. There is only one thing more painful than learning from experience, and that is not learning from experience. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. You are always stronger and more resourceful than you give yourself credit for. Two things to remember in life: take care of your thoughts when you're alone, and take care of your words when you're with people. People only change for themselves. You won't have to force it and break yourself apart to help them. If it can be fixed, why are you complaining? If it can't be fixed, why are you complaining? Everyone wants to skip the struggle, not knowing that that's where character is built. Failure is the way life teaches us its rules, in particular the ones we don't want to learn. It never gets easy, but it gets easier. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Some people are investments and some people are bills. Know the difference. Every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. You can choose the game you play, but not its rules. We cannot live happily wishing the world followed the rules we are comfortable with. Stop being so available to people who are only there for you when it's convenient for them. You don't notice your progress in life because you are always raising the bar. The human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance. When you're driving through the darkness, you can only see as far as the headlights shine, but you can make the whole trip that way. There is a healthy amount of distrust to have in everyone. Nobody's intentions are truly clear, even after being stated. You aren't crazy, you're intelligent. The trouble is, you think you have time. Our wounds are often the openings into the best and most beautiful part of us. If they don't know you personally, don't take it personally. Recognizing that you are not where you want to be is a starting point to begin changing your life. If you wouldn't take advice from them, why would you take criticism? Sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. If you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. Smart people learn from everything and everyone. Average people learn from their experiences, and stupid people already have all the answers. Don't tell your friend what your enemy shouldn't know. Expect little from people. Expect a lot from yourself. That's the secret of a happy life. Don't rely on others to tell you how to be happy or what makes a good life.